Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, Freedomers? All right, so the number one thing I learned from today was the promised land is for me first. Let me say that again. The promised land is for me first. Often we try to take others to the promised land. We try to take others to the victory. We try to take others to the glory. We try to take others to heights that they've never seen before while we're at the low. And I had to understand the promise, whatever that is, promised land or the promise is for you first. Because when you try to take everybody else, they'll have opinions, doubts, fears, beliefs, work ethic that you may not share. And you may get so distracted, and I've been here and I've done that, where I took away from my promise because I wanted to give some to somebody else when it was not the time to share with anybody else. I've damaged myself so bad because I was too busy giving the promise away to somebody else. And do yourself a favor, and because the universe kept telling me, be selfish with your time, be selfish with your energy, be selfish with your thoughts, be selfish with your resources, be selfish with all of that, because the promise is for you first. And one of my, because I'm an Aries Taurus cusp, and more Aries than Taurus. And my Leo friend was like, Aries people go to the promised land first, and then they come back. And a lot of the times, that's what you gotta do. You gotta go to the promised land and then come back and say, I found it. And then on top of that, when you find the land, when you find when you find the dirt, when you find the dirt, when you find the dirt, when you find the soil, when you find the stuff that you plant stuff in, you know that you can't take everybody with you for one reason and one reason alone. They will not garden and furnish and develop, because you know how long this fucking takes to grow out the fucking ground. You know how fucking long that takes? You know how diligent you gotta be to water this shit every fucking day, to build the shit, to get the seed, to do all of that. You know how long that fucking takes? And that's why I said the lesson of today is the promised land is for you first. And I want to share something with you that Brendon Burchard said in his most recent interview with Lewis Howes. He said, you know, I just thought this about opportunity, but he said it about life. He said, gratitude journals are great, but you want to show me how grateful you are for life? Let me see your calendar. Let me say it again. He said, if you're grateful for life and you have a gratitude journal, that's fantastic. When you write stuff that you're grateful for, you speak something you're grateful for, that's fantastic. But you want to show me how grateful you are? Let me see your calendar. And I had to pause myself. I said, whoa. He said, if you waste a lot of time, you're not really grateful for life. And I was like, whoa, God motherfucking damn it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Gary Vee says, I'm grateful. That's my drive. I'm grateful. Because he says, when he says that 1 million to 1, what that really means is I made it. I made it to the other side. And because I made it in birth, I'm a winner. So, because I could have died in that process, and same for me, I was a stillborn, so I could have died. But I made it. And, one of the most fantastic things in understanding was, he was like, one of the things he said on how to shift everything. And like I said, with the promised land, you got to take control of the promised land. You got to have ownership of the promised land. And if you don't have ownership, you just let this shit go to the wayside. If you don't take ownership of your relationship, shit goes by the wayside. And, for today, I had to really decide I got to block out everybody because the promised land is for me. And if I want to share it with you, I can. But you got to learn the value of the promise. Because a lot of times when you don't understand the value of the promise, you'll extend it to people who really don't care to receive the promise. They want the benefit, not the work. They want the benefit of your promise, not the work. They don't want to invest time and or money. So, I had to understand, like, because I'm such a sharer of my time, my energy, my resources. I said I share it with the people around me because I'm very giving. And I realized I should only be pouring that into people who want to pay me for that. And people pay to know information. People pay to know links and YouTube links and, resources and all that other stuff. And I said, people pay for that. And you gotta look inside and see what God or creation has promised for you. And when you don't know what creation has promised to you, you go sharing that shit like it's fucking pancakes, like it's fucking air. And it does you a disservice, because like I was watching this interview with Brendan Burchard, and he said the problem with influencers, they just want to make impact, but they don't want to build a business. And he said when you don't build a business, you're doing people a disservice. And because there's no influencer on the planet who didn't focus on building their brand or building their business, not just a service, but their business. Because we live in a capitalistic society. So if you don't build a business, you're going to be an employee to whatever you do. And he said a business is something that works without you. It's a machine that works without you. If you need to be there all the time to make money, you're an employee to your business. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm gonna go live again in probably like 2 or 3 hours. But the promised land is for you first, and you have to be selfish about the promise. Not the land, but first. You'll receive the land later, but you gotta be selfish about the promises. Because when you're not selfish about the promises, you fuck that shit up and you get demotivated. You feel like nobody cares about you because you're not selfish with the promise. And the promise may be so fucking big that when it's time to scale, let's say your business, it's because you're so doing it so small, and you're trying to share with everybody. And usually your business is not for everybody. Because that means, again, you don't value the promise. Unless you create a structure that is for everybody. But, the promised land is for you first. And the last thing, what I wrote down a couple weeks ago was, a couple hours ago was, you have to stop being so married to other people and divorcing yourself. Because you are married to you your whole life. Everybody else can divorce you. Your parents can divorce you. Your friends can divorce you. Your wife can, your spouse can divorce you. Your girlfriends can divorce you. Your job can divorce you. But the only person you're married to for the rest of your life is you. So that's why I say the promised land is for you first. Because everything can go away, but you gotta hold you together. And being a giver, I had to understand that. Because everybody has free will, everything outside of you can divorce you. Everything. Like Instagram shut down like a whole hour ago. shut down again. But like I said, everybody can divorce you, but you're married to you. Tomorrow, you gotta wake up with you. You don't have to wake up with your spouse. Your spouse could die tomorrow, God forbid. Your children can die tomorrow, God forbid. Your house can go tomorrow, but you gotta be married to you no matter what happens. And that's why I say the promised land is for you first. Because if you don't experience the promise, you will not value it. You will not value it. So I want you to go to the link below for free training on how to make money on Instagram. Going through, and it's more mindset stuff, but you have to have the mindset to build your business. bit.ly/free 15-minute training. In free 15 minutes, go to bit.ly/FREE15 minutes. bit.ly/FREE15 minutes. I'm going to change the link in my bio right now as we speak. So, yeah.